Bringing people and communities together on seclosounds.org.
Your listening station.
Hello dear listener and welcome to the Guinn Travel Show. During the show this week we'll be finding out what you can do when you go and visit London dungeons, or if you fancy a bit further afield, Abu Dhabi, to find out what's there. There'll be some travel news and some travel tips as well. Before we move on to the interviews with my guests today, I'd like to go through what I think are the 11 biggest travel mistakes. Of course, there probably could be more mistakes, and some of the mistakes I'm going to mention you may never even think you're ever going to do. But these 11 I've written down on a list, and they're the 11 I'm going to talk about during this show. First one is overpacking. I'm guilty of this myself. I always overpack. Perhaps I could wear my underpants for another couple of days. Maybe I don't need all those socks or shirts. So get yourself some luggage scales to make sure you're not overweight. And it's also good discipline to leave space on the way out for anything you want to bring back when you come home. So don't overpack. Mistake number 2, and yes, I've been guilty of this one too, is not making sure that the caps on your liquids in your suitcase are done up tight. There's nothing like getting to your destination and opening up the suitcase and finding out that it's all covered in shampoo. At least it smells nice, but the books don't seem to like that, nor does the electrical equipment. So make sure all your caps on all your lotions and liquids is thoroughly done up tightly, and if possible, try and make sure they're in another liquid-proof container. Mistake number 3, and this is especially relevant with all the problems at airlines and airports last week where the computer system went down, is not printing out your reservation details. It's all meant to be a paperless society now, but in my own personal opinion, the only people who are now paperless are the tour operators and the airlines. Everybody else, travel agents and travellers, still has to print everything out. Don't rely on your tablet, laptop, phone or anything else for your details for your travel. Print out the reservation details and take them with you. A couple of copies if possible, just in case the computer goes down and the attendant has to say, no, sorry, I've no idea who you are. So mistake number 3 is not printing out your reservation details. Number 4, and I did get caught out on this one myself when I started in travel 9 years ago, is not checking your mobile phone package and data plans before you go abroad. You could end up with a nice expensive bill when you get back, especially if, like what I did, when I was young and stupid, check all my emails next to the pool and write emails back saying, I'm next to the pool writing this email. Is it going to be expensive for you to do that before you go? So do check your mobile phone contract thoroughly. And if possible, pay for the upgrade. It may be worth it in the long run. Of course, you could actually buy a SIM card when you get there and have a local SIM, which will be considerably cheaper. But that'll only work if your phone's not locked. Mistake number 5 is when you're looking for your holiday and trusting the near city centre descriptions. I remember looking at a Barcelona hotel once, and to be perfectly honest, once you checked out where this hotel was, it was a bit like having a weekend in London but staying in St Albans. So don't just assume that the hotel is actually the destination you want to go to. Some websites do have a wide range of hotels they have to offer. So check on something like Google Maps to find out exactly where the hotel is. Then see if you're actually going to be close to where you want to be. So mistake number 5 is trusting near city centre descriptions on websites. Mistake number 6 is thinking you know when's the best time to book a ticket. There are a lot of surveys coming out saying when's the best time to book, the cheapest time. To be honest, nobody really knows. It just depends on how it goes. As a general rule of thumb, if you book your tickets well in advance, you get the cheapest seats. But if they're not going to sell the flights, there's not enough take-up, then they will start discounting. So just book your flights and just don't look at the prices after that. That's what I do. Buy and forget. It's not worth worrying about. So mistake number 6 is thinking you know the perfect time to book a ticket. Mistake number 7 is fearing street food. I've spoken to 1 or 2 experts and apparently the street food is a lot safer than you think. And in some cases it can actually be safer than having the buffet at a hotel. The food's cooked fresh to order, you can see it being cooked in front of you. And if there's a queue going to the person who's selling the food, well, it also can't be bad, can it, if everybody's queuing up to buy it. So don't just think that street food's going to be dangerous. Have a look, watch them cook it, see how many locals use it. And if it's quite popular, then why not have it? It could be a lot safer than the rice in your hotel buffet. So mistake number 7 is fearing street food. Mistake number 8, this one I go on about a lot, it's not having the right insurance policy. Cheapest does not mean it's the best. Do check what you're buying, check that you're going to be covered doing what you want to do. And if you're going to do something unplanned, check to see if you're covered to do it before you do it. So mistake number 8 is not buying the proper travel insurance policy. Number 9 is an over-reliance on guidebooks. Guidebooks can be out of date before they're even printed, and they also are possibly just one person's view of a place, because they'll be very blinkered and could be completely irrelevant to what you want to see and do. So don't just rely on a guidebook, read a few, and also double check for up-to-date information using the internet. So mistake number 9 is over-reliance on guidebooks. Mistake number 10 is not actually checking the entry requirements before you go. Do you need 6 months left on your passport after the date to return? Can you get away with it running out a day after you return? 3 months after you return? Do you need a visa? You should check all that before you go, because if you do get on the plane when you haven't got the right paperwork, you're soon coming straight home again. So do check the visa and other entry requirements. And finally, number 11 is obsessive photography, and I'm guilty of this too. I can't remember how many holidays I've spent where I spent most of my time looking through the viewfinder on my camera. Put it down, have a look around, take in the scenes. Don't just sit there behind the viewfinder snapping away. It's just not the same when you get back to your computer and go through all your pictures. You do need to put the camera down once in a while to make sure you have a great experience. And those are my 11 mistakes you should avoid when going away. Continuing on with my feature on things to do during the school summer holidays, we're talking about London dungeons in a moment. I passed the old London dungeons a few times, and in looking at the people who work there and seeing them all dressed up, it does seem to be a fun place to work, but I've never actually been in. So to find out more, I spoke to Matt Clarkson from the Communications Department for London Dungeons to find out what this place can offer you during your school summer holiday break. I started off by asking Matthew how long the London Dungeons have been going.
We opened in our current site on the 1st of March this year, actually, so we're really new. The London Dungeon itself was the original dungeon. We have dungeons in York, Blackpool, Edinburgh, and the flagship is London. That opened in the 70s down on Tooley Street. However, at the beginning of this year, we actually relocated from Tooley Street to the South Bank, where we've been trading and open for visitors from the 1st of March.
1st of March, why did you move?
Combination of factors, really. We really just run out of space over at Tooley Street. Dungeon have been trading there really, really well for kind of over 40 years. We just really ran out of space. It was quite a challenging building, very atmospheric, but quite a challenging building as well. So the opportunity to come over here, and we've taken over the vast vaults that are underneath County Hall, and we've translated some of the stuff from Tooley Street that people really love about it. We've recreated the dungeon atmosphere with damp walls, lots of different floor surfaces throughout the dungeon, so you really kind of get taken out of kind of 21st century London and dropped into the Middle Ages. And of course, we're a much bigger attraction now as well, so we can accommodate many more guests, and our queuing experience is much more improved as well. We now have an interactive queue with things to do and read and turn and touch, and we've got real cockroaches in there as well. Behind glass, I'll add, they're not kind of just loose. And we've also got our kind of resident rats we brought over with us as well. Again, they're in their enclosure as well, but we do get those out with our rat handler who kind of, you can stroke them and that kind of thing.
Oh, I have to go down just for that. I used to keep rats when I was younger, but the wife put the finish to that.
They're actually really cute. A lot of people are quite surprised when they see them up close. I mean, I guess they're a little bit cuter than the ones you might find in the sewer.
Yeah, they are cute. They're great pets. Was there a lot of work involved with the change?
Yeah, it was a huge project. Took about a year. It was actually turned around quite quickly, though, considering the amount of work that has happened. One of the amazing feats was actually building a boat ride in the building. So deep below in the basement of County Hall, we've got Henry's Rath boat ride in there, which you'll take a boat down the River Thames, recreated River Thames, to Traitor's Gate. And along that journey, you will see Brian Blessed, and he's actually played virtually via a high-tech projection, and that's Brian Blessed himself doing that character. So big, bold character. I mean, you can't get anyone better really to play that role.
I can imagine it's very loud.
It is, and yes, he's a very loud character, very bolsterous, brings a lot of personality to it.
I'm sure that's a giggle. What else is new for this year?
Well, the whole attraction essentially is new. We've taken a few of the things that we had over at Tooley Street, but they are kind of reworked, reimagined versions of them. So we've taken the Jack the Ripper stories that people really loved from Tooley Street, and we thought, how can we kind of improve on that? So you will now go through 3 separate shows that all lead up to the ultimate kind of meeting and coming face to face with Jack the Ripper in the 10 Bells pub. And we've added kind of lots of trickery and theatrical effects to that scene just to really kind of ramp up the tension, the surprise, and that's one of our most highly rated shows. Actually, people absolutely love that sort of sense of anticipation, and then the surprise reveal at the end. We have our drop ride as well. That's an all-new drop ride, now starting on the 3rd floor, and you drop through the basement and through the sub-basement into kind of swirling cold mist. So that's pretty cool as well, and that's our kind of finale to your visit. So it's really good fun.
With your new building, is it easier for those with disabilities to access
the building?
Shows?
Is completely accessible. We have taken that into account. There's still, the building is quite dark by its nature, so that kind of always adds a little bit of level of kind of complication, but and there are steps in the building, but where there are steps, there are bypass lifts, things like that. On our rides, people do need to be able to transfer from a chair to get on the ride in case of any evacuations or things like that. But other than that, the whole experience is kind of wheelchair friendly. In Sweeney Todd, the show, there we have spaces that you don't need necessarily transfer from a chair, and you'll still get that binaural audio, so it sounds like things are going on behind you and things.
Okay, so that's good access. But what sort of age ranges do you cater for?
We really kind of cater for everyone. We are a family attraction. It's a fun family day out. I would kind of say anyone 8 or above, it's absolutely fine for, but it's one of those really difficult things because you get some 3-year-olds coming in who absolutely love it, and then you get some 30-year-olds who are just kind of terrified of everything and anything. So it is a difficult one to kind of put your finger on and say, yeah, it's definitely for this age range. But broadly speaking, anyone who's kind of older than 8 is gonna have a really good time. And everything done in the London Dungeon is all done very much in a kind of fun, irreverent way. We're not a horror attraction. One of the misconceptions is that, you know, it's extreme horror. There's going to be people chasing you with a chainsaw or something like that. It's not. It's all about London history, the sort of darker, murky, horrible history side, but it's all done very much with a kind of bit of banter, bit of jest, that kind of, all very much kind of light-hearted, sort of taking the mick out of the horrible stuff that happened in the capital city.
Oh, taking the mickey, that sounds like me. So, how long should a visitor set aside for a visit?
The whole experience, as it's a guided tour, takes 90 minutes in its entirety. So a good hour and a half to do the entire building.
When would be the best time to arrive?
Generally, we say come early or come late, or the best advice is to really book tickets in advance on our website, which is thedungeons.com/London. By doing that, you book yourself into a half-hour time slot, which you can arrive any time between your half hours. On arrival, you go into our priority queue, which is our quickest entry. still anticipate maybe a maximum of 45-minute wait, but that's much shorter than our general walk-up line. That will be the quickest way to get you in, and you'll also save yourself some money because our web tickets are always much cheaper than our tickets that you buy on the door.
Okay. So web is best. Even though it's busy, once you're in, you're guaranteed to see everything because it's guided. You're not going to miss out.
Absolutely, and although we're a busy experience, we're popular. Unlike some attractions where you just kind of get pushed in and it's all a bit crowded, we purposely limit the number of people who can go through, so everyone does get a great experience. They can see everything, and you will certainly see the entire building because it's a fixed tour. You move around with a group of people from room to room to room, and you'll see each kind of set piece and each attraction or each show that's in each room.
That's good.
The Drive Time Show with Nigel G every Monday to Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. online at seclosounds.org. The best mix of music and fun to wind down your day. Listen out for a slice of cheese, the rotten tomato, and remember the bees. Intrigued? Don't miss the Drive Time Show with Nigel G every Monday to Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. on seclosounds.org.
You're listening to the John Guinn Travel Show on seclosounds.org. You can contact the show via facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. You've probably seen the sign saying you don't have to be mad to work here, but it helps. Well, I've got a feeling that might have been written with the guys who work at London Dungeon in mind. I'm going to continue now with my chat I had with Matthew, and we're going to be starting off with talking about the people who work there. You mentioned you've got rats and cockroaches, but how many actors do you have working? And are they looked after as well as the rats and cockroaches?
They would probably say no. On top of the cast of the rats and the cockroaches, which in total probably is sort of in the sort of high 50s, I'd guess, in terms of the animal side. And performance side, in total it's a cast of over 100 actually, but at any one time there's probably about 30 actors in the building kind of doing different rotations and things like that. And then we also have people who operate our rides who we call them dungeon keepers, and they're the guys that put you on the ride and send you on your way down the River Thames, that kind of thing.
Do they put that on their passports as their occupation?
It'd be a good one, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I imagine you'd be like, had to do a little bit of explaining as dungeon keeper.
I think it's worth doing it just for that. It's a school holidays. Do you have any special promotions on during this time?
Website is definitely the best place to go. We, if you come early or later in the day, you can save up to 30% off the normal ticket. And what we also do is what we call combination tickets. So, because we're now situated next to the Sea Life London Aquarium and the EDF Energy London Eye, and also one of our sister attractions is Man Tussauds London, you can buy a combined ticket that has any combination of those attractions. So if you wanted to come to the Dungeon and the Eye, we do a combined ticket, and buying them combined saves you money over buying the tickets separately. And the good thing about those tickets is they last for 30 days from the day of your first use. So you don't need to cram everything in on one day. You can spread it out across a month if you like.
You mentioned you're part of a group and you've got sister attractions. I think you're part of the Merlin group. Who are Merlin, and what is the Merlin annual pass? We
are part of the Merlin group. Merlin Entertainments Group is the second biggest visitor entertainment sort of visitor attraction company in the world. They operate and own a number of world-class attractions around the world. The Merlin Annual Pass is really your key and your pass to access all of those attractions in the UK. It's an annual ticket, basically. You can take that to Alton Towers, Legoland, Thorpe Park, Chessington, World of Adventures, the London Dungeon, York Dungeon, Edinburgh Dungeon. I think over 32 attractions in the UK at the moment is where we're at now. And in terms of value, they represent amazing value that for one ticket, you can go to those attractions as many times as you want to within a year. Keep me occupied all year. Yeah, it certainly keep you busy. Even, I think, one or two visits to a theme park and they've paid for themselves, and you've got that. And there's also perks that you get as well. So by being a pass holder, there are discounts on merchandise, food and beverage when you're at the attractions as well. And something new that just actually in a trial period at the moment, but look out for it on the Merlin Annual Pass website, is something called Merlin Membership, which is essentially the Merlin Annual Pass, but it allows you to pay for it by direct debit and spread the cost throughout the year, a little bit like how a gym membership might work.
That's a good idea, that.
Yeah, it makes it just a bit more handy.
It's my wedding anniversary next month. It's 20 years, and my wife wants to do something
Congratulations.
special. Thank you. Would I better hire your place for a party?
Absolutely. It's a great place. It's a really cool venue for a party. You can have dinner down in Guy Fawkes' cellars, and have a nice table down there. Again, the easiest place to find out about that kind of information is on the internet. Merlin have a company called Merlin Events. Just kind of Google that, and that will take you to a company who facilitate all the events across all the London attractions. So you can have dinner with Guy Fawkes, or you could have dinner up at Madame Tussauds, surrounded by kind of all A-list celebrities who will be joining your party as well.
My wife might kill me, but I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, it's a very cool place. When we had the opening party, everyone kind of had medieval beer, like mead and pies and things. It was definitely a unique kind of party that you've never been to before.
You mentioned about the discounts if you go early or go late, but we haven't actually said what your opening times are.
At the moment, we're open 10 till 7 at night, so 7 p.m. is our last admission. Outside of the main school holidays, it's typically 10 till 5 our opening hours, and 10 till 6 at the weekends. The only day that is slightly different is every Thursday when we open at 11 due to some fire alarm tests within the building that we sit in, which is County Hall, right next to the River Thames.
So you kind of have to stick to that then.
Yeah, we decided not to open any earlier because just so it ruins the kind of immersive atmosphere that we're trying to create here. So when you're walking through the cobbled streets of London to Mrs. Lovett's pie shop, we really want to make you feel like you're there. So we've gone to the lengths of kind of putting the cobbles down on the floor, creating scents. You've got sound effects of people, the paperboy shouting, carts and all that kind of stuff, and then you go into Mrs. Lovett's actual pie shop and meet her. So we really wanted to transport you from 21st century London and take you to those places, and just with a fire alarm going off, practicing in the test would be a bit disruptive. So we've taken that decision to open at 11 on those days.
Yeah, I think the alarm would kill that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
What's your favourite part of the dungeon?
My favourite part is probably I've got two favourite parts. The section where you board the boat ride, it's kind of a dockside. We try to recreate the fact that you're outside on the side of the Thames, so it's windy down there. You've got this breeze coming through, and then my second favourite is actually probably Mrs. Lovett's pie shop. It's a really nice, beautifully themed set, beautiful oak floorboards, smell of pies, kind of flickering lights, and once you get the character, one of our actors in there playing Mrs. Lovett, who's a really brilliant, fun character, because she's kind of, she's very kind one minute, and the next minute she's kind of slightly on edge, and it's a really, really good, gritty character to get into, and it can be a lot of fun.
It does sound it really does. Finally, you mentioned a few websites. Could you just go through the web addresses again, please?
Yeah, of course I can. So the main one for all kind of ticket information, opening times, or any type of information is www.thedungeons.com/London. And from there you can find out all the information, or look at dungeons near you. As I say, there's a dungeon in York, Blackpool, Edinburgh. There's also one in Warwick as well, which is part of Warwick Castle. The one for events is Merlin Events. Just Google that one. That's probably the easiest way to go about that. And Merlin Annual Pass as well. You can actually find the Merlin Annual Pass information on the London Dungeon website, though.
Okay, great. Thanks, Matt.
Brilliant.
Thanks for your information. It certainly brought it alive to me, so I'm going to have to pop down.
Yeah, absolutely. Come down, come see us, do a tour, do the rides, have your photo in our kind of iconic stocks. And yeah, it's really good. it's good. It's good, light-hearted fun, and you might actually learn something as well. There's quite a lot of history in there.
Oh, don't spoil it by saying I'm going to learn something.
You won't know you're learning though. That's the secret.
Oh,
it's
that's
fun
okay, then.
learning.
As long as there's no homework and a quiz at the end, that'd be fine.
Yeah, no, there's no homework.
Okay. Thanks, Matt. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Have a good day.
Thanks. Matthew mentioned quite a few websites there, so to make life easier, I'm going to put them all up on facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. Now it's time for the cheesy tune for the week. There was only one option as far as I was concerned, which is Henry VIII by Herman and the Hermits. If you think that you had a better suggestion for how we could do a cheesy tune for the London Dungeons, please let me know via Twitter @holiday_hut or via our Facebook page, which I said is facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show.
I'm Henry VIII, I am. Henry VIII, I am. I got married to the widow next door. She's been married 7 times before, and everyone was an Henry. She wouldn't have a Willie or a Sam. No, Sam. I'm a 8th old man, I'm Henry. Henry VIII, I am. Second verse, same as the first. I'm Henry VIII, I am. Henry VIII, I am. I got married to the widow next door. She's been married 7 times before, and everyone was an Henry. She wouldn't have a Willie or a Sam. No, Sam. I'm a 8th old man, I'm Henry. Henry VIII, I am. Oh! I'm Henry VIII, I am. Henry VIII, I am. I got married to the widow next door. She's been married 7 times before, and everyone was an Henry. She wouldn't have a Willie or a Sam. No, Sam. I'm a 8th old man, I'm Henry. Henry VIII, I am. H-E-N-R-Y. Henry. Henry VIII, I am. Henry VIII, I am.
Listen to the Sticks Radio Show with me, Terry Sullivan, here on Seclo Sounds every Monday from 10 a.m. with guests from the world of entertainment and sport across hearts, beds and bucks. The Sticks Radio Show online at seclosounds.org.
If you were asked to think about a holiday in the Middle East, you'd probably come up with Dubai. But there's far more to the Middle East than just Dubai, and there's far more to the United Arab Emirates than just the Dubai as well. There's also Abu Dhabi, which I personally believe has more to offer a visitor, especially with their Ferrari-based theme park. Last week I spoke to Nabeel Al Zarouni, who's the UK country manager for the Abu Dhabi Tourism and Culture Authority, to find out more about what Abu Dhabi can offer the UK visitor. For those listeners who are not sure, whereabouts is Abu Dhabi?
Abu Dhabi is the largest of the 7 emirates that comprise the United Arab Emirates and is also the capital of the UAE. The emirate lies on the southeastern tip of the Arabian Peninsula.
What's it like? Is it all sandy deserts?
Well, we certainly have a lot of desert and some great desert resorts and camps for adventure experiences such as camel trekking, dune bashing, which is riding huge sand dunes in 4x4s, dune quad bike riding, falconry, and desert dune walks. In the past year, We've had Olympic diver Tom Daly and celebrity chef Rachel Allen out into the desert for some of these experiences, and they loved it. You can find out more about their adventures up on the net. But there's much more to Abu Dhabi than desert. We have 400 kilometers of fabulous beach and many natural islands, so water sports is huge. Our hotels and resorts are of very high quality. It is a luxurious yet highly affordable destination. Very warm, of course, and very safe. Great for the entire family.
You mentioned you got islands. Do you know how many you've got?
There are hundreds of islands, but they're not all accessible because some are privately owned. The main ones of interest to visitors are the entertainment destination Yas Island, where there's the Ferrari World Abu Dhabi, the world's largest indoor theme park with the world's fastest roller coaster, Formula Rossa. It goes at 240 kilometers per hour, and you use 100 facial muscles in pushing against its G-force. There's also a huge water park, Yas Water World, which was voted the Middle East's leading attraction in the World Travel Awards. Yas Island is only 10 minutes from Abu Dhabi International Airport. It has a championship standard golf course, the theme parks, great hotels, and a beach open to guests. There's also a complimentary bus service to get around it. It's ideal for a stopover for anyone heading to the Far East or Australia via Abu Dhabi. And if you're there on a Tuesday, make sure you head off to our Formula One track Yas Marina circuit, where you can hire a bike and ride the circuit which the Formula One stars will drive at this November's Grand Prix. 10 minutes from Yas, there's the cultural destination of Saadiyat Island, where the Louvre Abu Dhabi is being built. It will open in 2 years' time. Saadiyat has a truly fabulous beach. You'll spot dolphins in the water, and there's 2 magnificent resorts there. Another island, which is an adventure island, lies 3 hours drive away, though you can take a scheduled 30 minutes flight there. It's called the Serbanias Island, and it's superb for honeymooners.
I'll have to make sure I go there on a Tuesday then. I fancy going around that track.
Yeah, definitely worth it.
How long does it take to get there from the UK?
Well, it can be reached by a 7-hour flight with Etihad Airways, the national carrier of the UAE. There are 3 Etihad Airways flights a day from London Heathrow to Abu Dhabi International Airport, and 2 flights a day from Manchester. You can also fly to Abu Dhabi with British Airways, which has daily flights, or with KLM, which has lots of connections from regional airports via Amsterdam.
So it only takes 7 hours. That's not too bad, is it?
Yeah, it's very close. Also good for a short break, for example, but there is lots to do in Abu Dhabi, so we'd recommend to stay longer if you're there.
What's the weather like once you get there?
Well, in terms of weather, October to May is where it is when it's just about as nice as it can be. Blue skies, around 30 to 35 degrees, warm waters, everything you need to kick off the British winter blues.
So that's the best time to go then, between October and May?
Yes, definitely recommend it, yeah.
What's the official language of Abu Dhabi?
The official language is Arabic, although English is widely spoken, and most road, shop signs, and restaurant menus are in both languages. The further out of town you go, the more Arabic you will find, both written and spoken. Arabic isn't the easiest language to pick up or to pronounce, but if you can throw in a couple of Arabic words here and there, they will be warmly received.
So it's difficult to learn. That's not good for me. I have trouble with English.
I see. But yeah, once you are there are lots of UAE nationals that would, of course, welcome the guests and maybe greet the guests in Arabic. So I'm sure you're going to learn a few words at least before you depart.
Yeah, I should pick something up. What's the currency out there?
The currency is UAE dirhams, which is divided into 100 fils, and it's pegged against the US dollar. So 1 British pound equals around 5.6 UAE dirhams. Credit and debit cards are widely accepted if you are shopping in the souks or the markets, or in smaller shops, maybe cash would be a better option.
Are there any compulsory vaccinations people from the UK should take?
No, not really. There are no compulsory vaccinations needed.
Oh, that's good, because I hate needles. What are the entry requirements for a UK passport holder?
Well, the UK residents get a free entry visa on arrival at Abu Dhabi International Airport. It lasts for 30 days and can be extended for another 30 days. Visitors who hold other passports should check the requirements before they travel.
Some people like to go away to get married. Is it possible to get married over there?
Yeah, of course. It is best to check with your embassy the requirements for getting married in Abu Dhabi, because they vary depending on your religion and which passport you hold. But there are plenty of beautiful venues to choose from.
You mentioned earlier that it's a luxurious destination, but affordable. So there's more than just luxurious hotels there. There's mixed of accommodation.
Yeah, there are many magnificent and beautiful hotels in Abu Dhabi, but you can find reasonable prices and, of course, expect great service where you stay. As well as hotels, you can stay in hotel apartments and even eco resorts. Most of the hotels in Abu Dhabi are family friendly. In Al Ain, our second city, you will find the hotels are particularly geared up for children, and most have kids clubs.
That's good. What are the beaches like once you get there?
Yeah, guests should make certain they visit Abu Dhabi's Corniche, which follows the coastline and is dotted with public parks, greenery and fountains. The Corniche public beach achieved the blue flag status last year, and here you'll find cafes and has lifeguards on duty. The Corniche is linked to the breakwater, where visitors can take in the traditional atmosphere of the heritage village, a replica of the desert oasis village, or relax in a nearby cafe to watch the boats in the adjacent marina. You can walk along the Corniche or even hire bikes and set yourself the challenge of riding the entire length, and it's recently been extended by 1.5 kilometers. With so much coastline, there are plenty of other beaches to enjoy, including on Yas and Saadiyat Islands.
And lifeguards good, because I've been to many destinations where there's no lifeguards, so that's good to hear.
Yeah.
I'm very fascinated about food. What's the food like, and do you have a national dish?
Yeah, Abu Dhabi has many dining options. Here you'll find cuisine from around the world and impressive culinary standards. You can't visit Abu Dhabi without trying the dates, of which there are around 100 different varieties, and of course the very strong Arabic coffee. Fish is very popular in Abu Dhabi, and there's a wonderful fish market selling everything from prawns to barracuda. Food and hospitality is important to our way of life, and one very popular dish is majboos, which is a meat, chicken or fish, which is cooked with spices, traditionally using hot coals and served with rice.
Sounds great. Maybe I'll give that a go one go.
Definitely worth trying the traditional food while you're there. Yeah.
How can a visitor find out more about the history of Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, information about Abu Dhabi's culture and heritage can be found at our website, which is visitabudabi.ae, including attractions and iconic landmarks. Once you get there, you will find visitor centers dotted around the emirate. Visitors interested in our history and heritage should be sure to visit the striking Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque and Al Jahili Fort, one of the UAE's most historic buildings.
So there's plenty to see out there to find out about how the country's changed over the years once you get there.
Yes, Abu Dhabi is very diverse, and although it's developing at a fast pace, but retaining its commitment to its culture and heritage.
What should a tourist do while they're out there?
Get out into the desert, take in a catamaran island cruise, cycle the F1 track, visit our forts and palaces, play golf, learn falconry, shop and relax on the beach and by the pools, and make sure you visit the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque. Try and time your visit as well with one of our great events.
Okay, what big annual events do you have?
Well, we have the Etihad Airways Abu Dhabi Formula 1 Grand Prix, which runs from the 1st to the 3rd of November this year. It's earning a reputation as the most glamorous event on the Formula 1 circuit. The Abu Dhabi HSBC Golf Championship runs in January. In February, there's the Gourmet Abu Dhabi Culinary Festival, and in March, the Abu Dhabi Festival with some of the biggest international names in classical music, theatre, and dance coming to stay.
It's quite a choice then, really.
Yeah, there is a choice for everyone.
What's expected of visitors during Ramadan?
Well, residents and visitors are asked to show respect for our traditions during Ramadan, just as they are at any other time of the year. You may like to wish a taxi drivers, for example, Ramadan Kareem, as you enter their cabs, as many of them are Muslims and will be fasting. Although Muslims refrain from eating and drinking during the daylight hours, Ramadan is a celebration and the city becomes lively at night. Visitors can still enjoy Abu Dhabi during Ramadan, and restaurants and shops are still open. In fact, many stay open late during Ramadan.
So it's just be respectful. Do you think enough people are doing that?
Yeah, definitely. I think with the British visitors, we don't seem to have experienced any problems. We tend to be very much a family destination, and I have found that our British guests respect our traditions as much as we respect them. We have tips of do's and don'ts, which are not extensive on our website, and people looking to visit can usually get the information from their travel companies. Visiting Arabia simply means using a bit of common sense in dressing and photographing people. Otherwise, I'm confident everyone will feel relaxed and secure, which you should, of course, on a holiday.
So it's a very safe destination to pop to then.
It is very safe. Abu Dhabi has been named the Middle East's safest city by the Mercer Quality of Living Index, where we are lucky enough to be virtually crime-free and have well-organized emergency services.
That's good. And finally, how can the listeners find out more?
Well, they can stay in touch with the latest information on Abu Dhabi by visiting our website, which is visitabudabi.ae, where you can sign up to receive monthly updates. You can also take a look at the official Abu Dhabi Facebook and Twitter pages.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
The following tour operators all offer holidays to Abu Dhabi: Virgin Holidays, Carrier, Emirates Holidays, Hayes and Jarvis, ITC Classics, Kuoni, Premier Holidays, Sunset Far Away, Thomas Cook Signature and Western and Oriental. Or of course you could just pop into your local travel agent to see what they have on offer. The websites again are www.visitabudabi.ae, Twitter you can follow at Visit Abu Dhabi, and then facebook.com/Visit Abu Dhabi for the official Facebook page.
Hello, it's Roy. Yeah, we're on the ferry. We should be in Spain tomorrow afternoon.
Well, be careful. Lots of crooks on the roads out here.
Crooks? You know where I grew up.
This is different. They target British registered vehicles.
Yeah, they used to do that round my way.
I'm serious. They'll tell you there's something wrong with your car, so you pull over, then they rob you. Or they distract you at a motorway stop. They target hire cars, too.
Hire cars?
Yeah, well, they're driven by tourists.
Oh, OK, I'll watch out.
Good. So, looking forward to the drive down?
Yeah, well, I was.
Thieves in Spain have been targeting hire cars and UK-registered vehicles, so be extra careful on the roads. For details, visit gov.uk and search for Living in Spain.
Like everybody else at Seclo Sounds, I'm a volunteer here. Seclo Sounds exists to bring people and communities together to celebrate all that's best about the city of Milton Keynes. We produce a variety of music and speech programmes produced by local people. At the moment we run to over 60 volunteers, but there is always room for more, so if you have a programme idea or a skill that you would want to offer, please send an email to volunteers@seclosounds.org. Seclo Sounds is based at the Old Rectory, the home of our studio partner, Interaction MK. They've been bringing arts to life in Milton Keynes for over 35 years. They use the arts to improve the life chances of disabled people and others in challenging circumstances through shared creative activity. Their programmes help participants to develop creative, personal and social skills. So again, if you've got a programme idea or you want to volunteer in any way to Seclo Sounds, please send an email to volunteers@seclosounds.org.
Join DJ Escudero for My Latinesque Show on Seclo Sounds every Saturday from 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. For everything cool and hot, Latin and local, it's Seclo Sounds with DJ Escudero. Para todo cool y caliente, latino y local, escucha a DJ Escudero en Seclo Sounds.
Hello, I'm Jim Cleland, and every Friday night at 8 p.m. on Seclo Sounds Radio, I play non-stop dance and disco music from the 70s, 80s, 90s and beyond. So, if you would like to go back in time to your disco days, if you want some music to dance to on a Friday night, or you would simply like to listen to some of the greatest disco tunes ever, then listen in to Let's Dance on Seclo Sounds Radio every Friday night at 8 p.m. with me, Jim Cleland.
You're listening to the John Guinn Travel Show on seclosounds.org. You can contact the show via Twitter at holiday_hut. Now it's time for some John Guinn Travel Show travel news. We've all heard about people's credit card details being hacked off the internet. Well, this week, hackers have decided to make off with US Airways dividend miles. I suppose if airline points are as valuable as cash, it was only a matter of time before somebody tried to see what they could do. I have to be perfectly honest, I've no idea how many air miles I've got. I've only got a member of 2 schemes as well, so I should be able to keep track. Do you know what you've got? Would you notice if somebody had run off with a few thousand? Well, US Airways have acknowledged this week that hackers got into a number of frequent flyer accounts and absconded with the miles. The US Airways spokesman, Bill McGlashan, told the press that the carrier noticed suspicious activity after customers reported that miles were deducted. So they looked at what was happening and they notified state and federal officials. On the bonus side, I suppose, no credit card or social security numbers were compromised. But if you were one of these people who had their accounts hacked, you got a 3 year of LifeLock identity theft protection as a precaution. The airline declined to reveal the exact number of accounts affected or the miles taken, citing that the fact is an ongoing police investigation. But WSOC TV in Charlotte, North Carolina, reported that 7,700 accounts were breached. Customers are asked to check their account balances and, if necessary, contact the Dividend Miles Service Centre for assistance. I've only ever had one plane break on me when I was flying. We had to have the fuel dumped before we could make a landing. So imagine how you feel if you're on a flight that had 2 emergency landings. Well, some passengers had that experience when they were trying to get from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, up to London. The plane had to take an emergency landing because there was a problem with the wing flaps, and when they tried again 24 hours later, it had to do exactly the same thing. Turn round and land. Passenger Sean Casey told the BBC that paramedics were brought on board to treat some of the passengers after the second emergency landing. He said that it was scandalous that the BA ground staff at the airport had been unable to assist or advise on how they were going to get people to their final destinations. According to Mr Casey, many passengers have lost thousands of pounds as their onward flights, holiday accommodation and car rental had been paid for and lost. He feels that BA had put 300 lives at risk by risking the same plane within 24 hours after trying to fix the fault. Of course, BA reject the allegations that they would operate a flight unless it was safe to do so, and it was just a precaution to return to the airport. Since then, a replacement aircraft has been sent to Riyadh and the passengers have finally made it to London. But what would you do? How happy would you be if you just found out that the plane 24 hours beforehand had made an emergency landing because of a fault? If you've had that experience, please let me know via facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show or via Twitter, which is @holiday_hut. As you all know, there's plenty of services you can get via the internet who will send you emails of great holiday deals. All you have to do is pick the one you like and then book it. Well, sometimes it's not all what it seems. And recently, Travelzoo had just been ticked off by the advertising watchdogs for a misleading advert. The Travel Deal website was advertising a 3-night break in Ibiza for £99. But if you looked into it, he only actually spent 1 night in a hotel. The other 2 nights were spent travelling to and from the island. A customer complained after buying the holiday and discovering that the flight times were such that he arrived in Ibiza at 1:35 in the morning on the first night and departed at 1:45 a.m. on the third night. The Advertising Standards Authority investigated, and they considered that for some of the flight times, including those of the complainant, did not accord to the customer's experience of a 3-day holiday because passengers on those flights only had 1 full night at the hotel. So they concluded that the claims that this 3-night Balearic break and 3 nights at the tropical hotel had not been substantiated and were misleading. Well, you can see their point if they say 3 nights at the tropical hotel when you only stay there 1. Travelzoo has been told that the ad must not appear again in its current form, and to ensure that all future ads do not mislead customers about the length of their holidays. The spokesman for Travelzoo said for the first time since they started publishing deals in 2005, have they had any sort of ruling against us, and they take it very seriously. They claim to research, test and evaluate over 120,000 deals a year. And of course on this occasion, one slipped through. But you do have to be careful when you look at internet prices or even travel agent prices. Does it say days? Does it say nights? Because it could make a real difference in how you get to enjoy your holiday. According to an article published in Time, only 18% of flights departing from Beijing in June took off on time. Air delays are becoming a major problem in China, and Chinese travellers are getting understandably frustrated with this problem. But their collective anger has taken a turn for the worse. There have been physical attacks onto members of the airline, and there's also been major arguments between the workers and the travellers, and the latest protest tactic is sit-ins. Passengers have been refusing to leave grounded planes until they get compensated for their inconvenience. But staging a sit-in and becoming aggressive towards airline employees isn't going to affect the problem, because the core of the problem is centred on the very infrastructure of the Chinese air travel, which is poor management by airline operators. The Civil Aviation Administration of China, CAAC, reckons that 42% of delays are caused by mismanaged operations from the airline carriers. In fact, the problem's got so bad that some airlines are training their crews to learn how to defend themselves. But perhaps they should spend the money on learning to get the flights on time in the first place. And this ends the travel news. Lonely Planet's Facebook page asked their fans if they could say what their most treasured travel souvenir was. And I've come up with a list of 7. Number 1 is a partner. Apparently, people meet boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands or wives, and that was the most common souvenir among the Facebook followers. Second one was experience. Yes, very cheesy, but apparently the experience gained through travel and exposure to foreign countries has changed them as people. Actually, that's true. Many of my trips have changed how I see life and things, so that's a good one. An injury. Yep, sometimes people hurt themselves. Mosquito bites, perhaps. Falling asleep and burning your face. Burning your back. Number 4 was tattoos. Could be a fond memory, could be a regret. But if you're going to have something done in a foreign language, you should really double check that it actually says what they say it's going to say. Number 5 was a gift from a stranger. Tales of generosity on the road. Number 6 was accidental souvenirs, such as the room key, or somebody found a fossil snail while trekking in Bolivia. Number 7 is a strange one, prehistoric shark teeth. Not the most popular of the list, but something to show the grandchildren apparently. One of their fans, called Sharky, came home with the teeth after a diving trip in North Carolina. So, what is your most treasured travel possession? Please let me know via facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show or via Twitter @holiday_hut. You've been listening to the John Guinn Travel Show on seclosounds.org. I hope that you enjoyed the show. Please let me have some feedback if you've got any at facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show or via Twitter, which is @holiday_hut. All the websites mentioned on today's show will be put on the Facebook page, so if you haven't made a note, like the page and you'll find the web links there. But thanks again for listening, and I hope you can join me next time on the John Guinn Travel Show.
MK Pulse proudly sponsors Seclo Sounds. MK Pulse is Milton Keynes' local magazine, bringing helpful information on food, health, fashion, money, travel, culture, and much more to 66,000 readers every month. Plus news, views, and what's on from around the city. If it's happening in Milton Keynes, it's in MK Pulse, and it's available online at www.mkpulse.co.uk. MK Pulse and Seclo Sounds, the heart and soul of the city.